Hello again everyone, welcome back to video 3.1 in the Kontakt tutorials. Last video I introduced you to sample groups, for example, all in here, which was relatively straightforward. This tutorial I'm going to introduce you to different starting options for groups, also a little bit of modulation, and just kind of simple, well, not simple things, but a relatively easy tutorial to get through. So to start off with, last session we had this with a couple of symbols. As you can see, every group that I play lights up. So for example, both snares light up when I press D1. Now, to get a realistic sounding instrument, you don't want to have several samples playing at the same time. You want them to be random and, you know, one sample but changing randomly. You can easily do this within Kontakt, just by the start options on how the group behaves. So simply on snares, there we go, we're on D1, just drag it down a little bit. There we go. Oh, before I go any further, I had forgotten to mention about velocity, and how if you don't have velocity on the group, then it won't change the sound depending on the velocity. It will change if you've put two samples in, but for example, using the snare 1 group, if I play really, really softly, there we go, you can hear the harder I press the key, the change in tone. To do this across all your instrument groups, you just come down to the amplifier section and click on this mod button here. If I get rid of the velocity on there now, then I can show you how to add it again. So if we come down to mod, come down to this drop box which is add modulator. External sources is where the MIDI keyboard is going to affect what's happening. So we'll come to some of these later on, but for now we just need the velocity. And if we bring it back to about 40% ish, there we go, then the way that you interact with the MIDI keyboard will reflect how it reacts with the samples. So that's, you know, that kind of needs to be done for all groups. So getting back to these start options, as you can see, both groups of snares light up when I press the key, which we don't want. So if I come down to here, in the group editor, you've got group start options. If you click on that, it will bring up this little drop box here which says always in it. We don't want them to always start all the time. So if we click on that, you can see you have a start on key, start on controller, cycle round robin, cycle random, and slice trigger. As I'm only working with 2 snares, I'm going to use the round robin feature. If you're doing this and you have X amount of snares, then it might be good to use the random feature, but just for now we'll stick with the round robin. This means that it will just go in a cycle of hits. So with this, obviously you've got your group start set to round robin, and it will bring up this little box, position in round robin chain. Now as this is snare group 1, we're just going to leave that on 1 for now. If we do the same to snare group 2, again, group start options, click on this box and come down to round robin, position in round robin 2, because it's the second group, so we want it circulating that way. So now, when I play the snare key, you will see that only one group will light up at a time. As so. Just means that you can kind of get a more realistic drum roll or snare roll off of it, or something like that. It's not sounding so machine gun like. So that's the kind of start options loosely covered. The next thing is hi-hat. At the moment, if you play, you won't play an open hi-hat with a closed hi-hat like that, unless you've got two hi-hats on a real kit. So to sort this out, so you can only play one at a time, we're going to create an exclusive group for these hi-hats. So if I click on the hi-hat, firstly I want both of these groups to work off the same voice group. So if we come down to this drop down box here, voice group, and just click on 001 and do the same for open hi-hat, or else I'll get confused and wonder where I am. As you can see, I've had this already set up, so it's already gone to exclusive group. But to set an exclusive group, you come along to where it says exclusive group here, click on the drop down box, and you've got up to 16 exclusive groups. We're just going to use one for now. And same with this one, it's on the same group. So now, you can see when I press both keys, I will only get one sound, which is what we want. Everything's good there. So I think that's kind of it for this video. I've explained to you about adding velocity on all your samples. We've got the whole kind of thing going at the moment. Obviously, when you're building a drum patch, you wouldn't just have these 4 or 5 groups. But just for the sake of teaching, we'll stick with easy things for now. So yeah, hope this was helpful, and I shall catch you again when we go on to effects and start getting creative with it. Thanks very much. See ya.